Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. A lot of you have asked me to take a look at Cecil the Lion, the story about the American hunter who went over to Zimbabwe, lured the lion out of the national park, and killed him. What I find interesting right off the bat is that the lion is named after Cecil Rhodes by Oxford University, which has the Rhodes Scholarship. And knowing that the lion's named after Cecil Rhodes reminds me of really what the big joke of all this is by the mainstream media. If you're not aware, Cecil Rhodes is who oversaw the diamond trade in Rhodesia back when that was launched by the Rothschild family, who made the De Beers Company and appointed Cecil Rhodes to oversee the area and the diamond trade. And that diamond trade has resulted in the needless death of very many Africans for all the years this has been going on. And in all the time I've lived in America, I've never heard a single person cry a peep about the injustice of the diamond system. While at the same time, I've seen countless people invest all sorts of money in diamonds and jewelry that at the end of the day results in the needless death of many people all throughout this world. And that's no secret to any of us, Truth Seeker. We're aware of how much sympathy people have for stories of animals dying, while at the same time having such little sympathy for people themselves dying. The people who run our mainstream media know this about us, and I think for these reasons we have this story. It's a very sick and twisted joke, and possibly I'm wrong here, but I think this story is not only negative psychological programming from an emotional standpoint, it's also programming us, preparing us for what is about to happen to the 44th president, who's been in Africa traveling at the same time this story is released. And it's curious that this story is released now that it is, because it happened on July 1st, on 7/1. We're getting the story at the end of July while Obama is traveling in Africa. And the reason I think this connects to Obama is because of the Gematria coded behind the words here. Cecil the Lion in Pythagorean Gematria sums to 61. Obama himself is born on 61. On April 15th of this year, we had the Gyrocopter Story about the message delivered for the White House for Obama. That story was all coded with 61. Also, with regards to lions in 61, the movie The Lion King equals 61, and there's a connection to Obama through that because of what he did in 2011 at the White House Correspondents Dinner. Let's check it out.
It is wonderful to be here at the White House Correspondents Dinner. What a week. As some of you heard, the state of Hawaii released my official long-form birth certificate. Hopefully, this puts all doubts to rest. But just in case there are any lingering questions, tonight, I'm prepared to go a step further. Tonight, for the first time, I am releasing my official birth video. Now, I warn you, no one has seen this footage in 50 years. Not even me. But let's take a look.
So there it was, Truth Seeker, at the White House Correspondents Dinner. Obama making a joke about his birth, an ongoing theme throughout his presidency. Brings up the movie The Lion King with this 61 coding. We'll come back to this 61. There's more to talk about there. I just want to move on through some of this other coded numbers. Cecil the Lion in simple English gematria sums to 115. Freemasons, the plural, has this gematria. Also the word killing in Jewish gematria. And of course, this is a story of the killing of a lion. By crossbow, a word with 33 gematria. His lawyer is named John Austin. 33 lawyer, 33 weapon. Anyhow, notice how Cecil's 32 and Lion's 50. America Pythagorean's 32. America Simple English is 50. 50 states in America. Also, Obama is born on August 4th, which is the sign Leo, which is the lion. Leo the lion. So Obama is a Leo, a lion through birth, connecting to the Lion King movie joke from the 2011 Correspondents Dinner. Leo also has that gematria of 32, like Cecil. The man who killed the lion is named Walter J. Palmer. The media uses the name Walter Palmer, Walter J. Palmer, Walter James Palmer. J's for James. I noticed that Walter Palmer in Pythagorean sums to 54. Obama will be turning 54 on August 4th. His current Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, has a name gematria of 54. 54 has a numerology of 9. The next president to die in office will die as the 9th president to do so in office. The first president to die in office was the 9th, William Henry Harrison, who died on April 4th. 4-4. The last president to die in office was JFK, who died as the 44th term president. Obama is president number 44. MLK assassinated on 4-4. Anyhow, moving on. Walter J. Palmer plus one more sums to 55 like Satan. He's also said to be 55 years old. In simple English gematria, the name Walter sums to 79. Just like the word murder. The name Walter Palmer sums to 144, the number for Mark of the Beast. Remember, if you sum the first 144 decimal points of pi, the total is 666. Also, if you write out 44 and sum it in simple English gematria, it sums to 144. Obama's the 44th president. The word kill has gematria of 44. K's the 11th letter if you're new here. I's the 9th, L's the 12th, L's the 12th. That's how we get it. Simple English gematria kills 44. If we wrote out 44 and summed it that same way, it would sum to 144. Cecil the Lion was killed on 7-1, which is kind of like 71 the number. And if you write out 71 and sum it, it too sums to 144. Maybe a coincidence, maybe not. This national park has gematria of 58. As I've pointed out in other videos this week, the number 58 is getting coded into a lot of stories, including the theater shooting, which was also a number put on the prior theater shooting in Aurora, Colorado, and then again in Louisiana, in Lafayette. Again, the line is named after Cecil Rhodes, who oversaw the diamond trade. Both Rhodes and diamond are 33 words, like crossbow. Cecil the Lion was killed with a crossbow. Cecil survived for 40 hours in the desert. Any Christian will connect that right away. Jimmy Kimmel got emotional on air about this story. Remember that Jimmy Kimmel broadcasts from the Hollywood Masonic Temple. That gematria of American dentist sums to 155, kind of like the Jewish gematria of July 1st. 155 is a number that gets coded sometimes. The word Christianity equals 155, and oftentimes it seems that all these numbers are borrowed from Christianity. Such as his dental practice is named Red River Dental, which has Pythagorean gematria of 74. Remember, Jesus is 74, Cross is 74, Messiah is 74. Very important number in the Bible. CNN gives us this shot. This is supposedly his dental office. Notice there's no real markings here to show anything to confirm that this is his dental office, but they say that this sign's been put up there. Rotten Hell. Well, I'll show you something funny about Rotten Hell, Truth Seeker. It has simple English gematria of 113, like the word mainstream, like the word dishonest, like the word green screen. And it's very possible that this entire story is a fabrication. The lion was supposedly tracked by Oxford University, which I have theorized is actually one of the centers for where these Masonic assholes operate out of. Jimmy Kimmel helped raise money for Oxford University using his television program and telling the story of Cecil the Lion. You know? Dear America, we're not going to solve any problems by coughing up money to rescue a lion that's tracked through Oxford. Newsflash. Hollywood Masonic Temple, where Jimmy Kimmel has operated from since 2003. So for 12 years. Man, that's hard to believe. Blows my mind. I remember when he was on Win Ben Stein's Money. The last time I tuned in Jimmy Kimmel was on June 8th, and the second I turned on the TV, right away, the Masonic numbers. Wearing number 47 with a tag for Nevada. Nevada more 47 gematria. 47, a very important number to the Masons. Making oh so much sense broadcasting from the Masonic Temple. The casual viewer will look at this stuff and have no idea what it means, but once you learn gematria and numerology, it all stands out like a sore thumb. So again, that 61 coding that was all over this. Cecil the Lion equals 61. Lion King equals 61. On April 15th, tax day, we had this Gyrocopter story. CNN gave us the headline, Message Delivered. The pilot of the gyrocopter was said to be 61 years old. Gyrocopter in Pythagorean gematria sums to 61. The pilot's name, Doug Hughes, has gematria of 61. Again, Obama born in 61. From Lupercalia, the celebration on the 44th day of the year, to April 15th is a span of 61 days. Again, April 15th was the day that this 61 coded story happened. And as I've said in so many videos, everything this year is being coded or measured from Lupercalia. I think that's because we're in the time of the 44th president. Lupercalia is celebrated on the 44th day, has Pythagorean gematria 44. Remember, 44 is the kill number. And again, message delivered. He got this message on the date that Lincoln died. At the beginning of Obama's presidency, he reopened Ford's Theater, which is where Lincoln died. Also, that theater was reopened for the first time after the death of Lincoln in 1968, the year MLK was assassinated on 4/4. Then it was closed in 77, then reopened in 2009 with Barack Hussein Obama. Let's close out by watching the mainstream coverage of this story.
Until the cows come home, but where is Dr. Walter J. Palmer?
I'm just so disgusted with that man and shoot any lion, but lure a lion like that out of the preserve and shoot him. I mean, how could anybody think that's sport? Just appalling.
CNN tried to find him at his Minneapolis home, but no one answered the door. In fact, he has gone underground after releasing this statement, which read in part, quote, I deeply regret that my pursuit of an activity I love and practice responsibly and legally resulted in the taking of this lion.
Preserves are meant to preserve wildlife, not to just lure them off and poach them.
Now, Dr. Palmer, a wealthy dentist from Minneapolis, finds himself under a torrent of criticism after a conservation group alleged that Dr. Palmer and his guides lured Cecil out of the park sanctuary and shot him.
Notice how in that last shot they had the sign killer up in big letters front and center. Remember, that word equals 115 in Jewish Gematria. Cecil the Lion, 115. All part of the coding.
With a bow and arrow, then pursuing the animal another 40 hours before killing, skinning, and beheading him, all for a trophy kill. Zimbabwe authorities say Palmer paid at least $50,000 for the hunt.
We lost one of the icons, a male lion, which was popularly known and endeared as Cecil.
And now the dentist, with a practice and a home in this upscale neighborhood, finds himself being hunted, as questions remain of whether he will face charges in Zimbabwe. Today, protesters took to the streets in front of his Minnesota office, which has since been shuttered.
He can apologize until the cows come home, but for us, it's more about we're here for Cecil. We're not here for Dr. Palmer.
But this isn't the first time Dr. Palmer's big game hunting hobby has gotten him in trouble. Court documents show that an individual the same age as the dentist was put on probation years earlier for killing a black bear in Wisconsin and then lying to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services about it. He pleaded guilty, he got probation, and paid a $3,000 fine. And in Zimbabwe, conservation officials say that the hunters tried to destroy the research tracking collar Cecil wore. These two men seen here have since been arrested for the slaying. A professional hunter and landowner released on $1,000 bail, both facing upwards of 10 years in jail. Their attorney says they are innocent. Dr. Palmer says he relied on their expertise as guides to, quote, ensure a legal hunt.
It's a bad image for Africa, and it shouldn't be condoned, and I think action should be taken for that.
But back stateside, questions still remain of what is to become of Dr. Palmer, with many on social media mourning the lion's demise, steadily coming to a boil of anger and outrage. Even late-night show host Jimmy Kimmel responded at one point, choking up.
If you want to do something, if you want to make this into a positive, you can, sorry. Okay, I'm good. Make a donation, support them. At the very least, maybe we can show the world that not all Americans are like this jackhole here, this dentist, the top dentist.
So I understand, Ryan, that Dr. Palmer released a statement today to his patients. What do we know he said?
Well, this afternoon we got it from one of our affiliates, WCCL. Part of that letter, and of course, it states to all his patients he's sorry for the inconvenience. I mean, if you look behind me, this place is shut down. A lot of folks have been putting things on front window, but he says he thought he was doing a legal hunt and he regrets shooting this lion. But I can tell you, by standing out here, there's a lot of passion involved in this. We saw hundreds of people gather just this afternoon to protest. One woman even saying she doesn't believe he can even practice here ever again. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens. We tried to reach him, but of course, he did not answer his door.
So there it is, the mainstream coverage showing the emotional response of Americans. And, you know, I think people have a right to be upset about this story. But at the same time, I think as Americans, we lack the perspective to see what our own regular actions are contributing to this world. The majority of people in this nation eat animals. And unfortunately, the majority of those animals are processed through factory farms, which use the most disgusting practices known to man. Animals are crowded together, fed horribly, live lives that are just awful until the day they're slaughtered. And I've never heard any outcry for any of the billions and billions of animals that are slaughtered in this nation annually as food. You know? The very obvious hypocrisies of our animal rights positions that are well known to many of us in this nation. These occasional animal stories that get the major outcries while people continue to eat their diets of factory farm-raised food. But anyway, Truth Seeker, the greater point is they released this story at a specific time for a specific reason. While Obama is traveling in Africa, we get the story of a white American man going over and killing a lion needlessly. We have to start protesting for things bigger than lions, though. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.